Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Well, the seasons are changing. We are getting into cold and flu season. Actually, we're already here because I know somebody whose son visited back from college and now she has the flu. It's here. How do you protect yourself? Lots of things you can do. Why would you want to put chemicals in your body when you could go a natural route in terms of herbals? And she is a master herbalist, and she is back with us. Tammie Lowell is here. Hi, Tammie. How are you?
I'm good, Steve. How are you?
I am good, and want to protect myself. So, and I always go back to the, okay, vitamin C, zinc, things like that as a starting point, maybe some other vitamins, a vitamin, but there's other things we can do in terms of herbals. There's a lot of stuff we can do.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I always add, you had the first two basics, vitamin C, zinc, but you want D3 in there as well. D3 and zinc actually work together. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I shared last time, or last couple of times we got together, but I found out that I was very, very deficient in vitamin D.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And very low, like the lowest I've ever seen. I'm like, I don't know. So I got a vitamin D prescription, super large amount, take it once a week for a bunch of weeks, but definitely notice a difference. But the zinc connection with it, vitamin D, what's going on there?
Yes. Yeah, they actually help each other's absorbency. So if you're taking zinc, you definitely need the D3. So if you were deficient in D3, then the zinc that you were taking, you weren't getting a good absorption out of it.
And I've heard that vitamin D is so important because it helps absorb other nutrients and vitamins.
Yes. Yeah. So definitely, if you're low on those D3s, then yeah, you're not absorbing a lot of that. So D3 is real important. So, getting outside, soaking up that sun when you can, getting it naturally. But yeah, D3 is huge to boost the immune systems.
Never knew. Never. Yeah. I started knowing, but now you even back that up even more with some more insight. Before we continue, what are the flowers in back of you?
Oh, those are hydrangeas.
Wow. It's funny, like I can almost smell them from here. When
Yeah,
you think about a smell.
Yeah, we have, of course, up here in Lake City is where I'm at today. And it's starting to frost and everything. So it was time to bring my outdoor plants that is out in front of the shop inside so they can, be good for the winter. A lot of people leave them out and they go, oh yeah, they'll come back. Well, our frost is just so hard sometimes that even perennials don't come back. Annuals, forget it. You'll never. Well, I've had a couple annuals I've got to come back, but it's been a total fluke. So yeah, so they're geraniums and I do have some mums. You probably can't see them. They're off over in this other corner, but yeah. So they're geraniums.
Crazy question. I'm just gonna throw it. Things like those flowers that we love, mums and hydrangeas, things like that. Now I know that you've harnessed the power of plants. Is there any properties in plants like that are beneficial to us in terms of herbs?
Actually, there's one that a lot of people use and they hang. They don't even realize it, but lobelia. Lobelia is a beautiful, beautiful kind of a purplish. It can be a striped, beautiful flowering plant, and it is amazing for upper respiratory issues.
Wow.
Yeah. And people don't even realize it. It's funny because you'll walk down, different, you'll visit a different town or whatever, and you'll see all these beautiful, flowering plants that are hanging out in front of these shops. They're trying to spruce up their main street or whatever it is. And I'll walk down and go, oh, there's some lobelia. There's some lobelia, and it's funny. And people don't even realize that after you use that, you could take the flowers off, what we call deadheading them, or whatever, but you can even clip it off and take it, dry it out, and you've got a huge bronchial dilator. My mother, when I was younger, I can remember her bringing my young sister out of an asthma attack with lobelia tincture under the tongue.
Woof. Wow.
Yeah.
I guess one of the most common things we find growing out there that can support us, dandelion or dandelion.
Oh, absolutely. I do dandelions all the time.
Who knew?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never knew.
Dandelion is one of the best natural diuretics you can have. I actually drank dandelion tea after my second child was born because I just, for some reason, I bloated up. I'm like a size 7 shoe, and I was wearing my cousin's size 9s because of all of the inflammation and edema that I ended up happening. And I drank 2 days of dandelion tea. I was back in my regular jeans
Wow.
before I was pregnant, and regular size shoes again. But yeah, it wasn't even 48 hours, and it had pushed all of those fluids off of me.
Okay. There's so many dandelions, depending on the time of the year on your lawn.
Yeah,
Could you just pull a bunch of them and make a tea or something like that? Is that or would
absolutely.
hmm,
Yes,
okay.
absolutely. And it doesn't matter the flower, the leaf, the root, it has, so if people don't want them, I mean, they don't like dandelions in their yard, well, go ahead and root it up and use it. You can use the whole plant. I mean, I'm a person who prefers using the whole plant.
Hmm.
I don't when I go out harvesting. I just harvested yesterday. I just harvested a bunch of mullein because of the cold and flu season, the upper respiratory. It is all really good for the upper respiratory system. Well, I just took the leaves. The flower on the top wasn't quite ready, so I left it alone and I left the roots. So,
Wow.
I want it to come back more. Colorado thinks that it is a noxious weed, so they spray it. So you want to be very careful if you're harvesting any mullein, around the roadsides and things like that. But talk about upper respiratory, even the Native Americans, different tribes besides mine being Lakota, used to actually smoke mullein to open up the lungs and to quit tobacco use and things like that. So,
And I guess it's reasonable to say that if you're going to pull like dandelion from your yard, if you put down fertilizer a few months before, yeah,
no,
not a good idea.
no,
Okay.
that would be bad because yeah, I mean it's gonna absorb those chemicals. Absolutely. I mean any plant will. It's gonna draw it right up into from the water and
Yeah.
into into the roots and everything else.
100%. Just like when you
Yeah,
put
so
down
yeah,
root.
if you're putting chemicals on stuff, you probably don't want to use it.
Right. Well, just it's a reminder. You know,
It is a great
yeah,
reminder. Yes,
you
yes, that
might
is a
not think like,
wonderful
oh, let
reminder.
me just run outside and grab a handful of those, but just got to consider that. I guess if you're going to do it, it should be truly in the woods, in the brush, where there's no
Yeah.
pesticides being applied or anything like that. Okay, for cold and flu season, what else can we use? What do you got? What could we use?
Well, I mean, when you're boosting that immune system, I have several different options. I mean, I think everybody's go-to is kind of elderberry.
Uh,
Yeah, elderberry is great. And I carry actually 2 different products that has elderberry in it. I have, me, I'm a very, very huge advocate of CBD. So it is a 25 milligram gummy. It has 1,000 milligrams of CBD. But the cool thing about it is it has elderberry, zinc, vitamin C, and D3 in it. So you're getting all of your good stuff with all your good vitamins, but you've got your CBD. So in turn, you're also going to rebalance that endocannabinoid system. So that way your body's going to help absorb everything, rebalance back, get that homeostasis. Plus you're also building your immune system. So that's a great one that, I'm somebody who likes gummies and it's got the organic sugars in it. And so it doesn't have, the no high fructose corn syrup or anything. It's all good stuff. It's sweetened properly. The one that I make myself it's actually called an immune boost tincture. And this one has echinacea, elderberry, astragalus, osha, and maca root. So I knew you were going to hit me on this one. That's why I waited.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. I've heard of most of those. Maca root, I actually got a couple of months ago, but I really haven't dug deep into it. And it's supposed to give you a lot of energy, make you feel just overall better.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've used it for thousands of years in Asia. It's a superfood. The root is really packed with all your essential minerals that you need. And we don't get those minerals you don't even get it out of your water anymore, So, unless you're on well water, you may get the minerals, where I am. I mean, I'm up in the boonies and things like that, but you guys down in New York City, you're not getting that. You've got, fluoride treated waters and things like that. So, you're not getting, they filter all of your minerals out.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Or there are some municipalities that put minerals back in because if I believe that minerals are the taste that really give you the taste for the water.
Correct. Yeah, correct. And okay. I know that some places do that. But yeah, so maca root it's used by bodybuilders and people that, work out, because as you're working out, you're burning up all of those amino acids and those things like that. So if you have those essential minerals, it helps your body recover quicker when you're working out. So.
And I've heard too, and this is why I haven't jumped full force into it yet. I wanted to dip my toe in the water. I've heard that it can cause some digestion issues.
Not that I've really found.
Okay.
It's everybody that I mean, I've taken it, and everybody I know that takes it in high doses, anything can cause,
even zinc. I want to share with you just to that point, because I get triggered with the word zinc. I'm not even kidding. Diagnosed with an ulcer at 2016. It still comes back, flares back from time to time. But right when it was starting to fester, I was taking lots of zinc.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard it's great to ward off a cold. I would get the lozenge, and we've driven in my car like almost like candy. And I would take it, and I would just, hey, I'm doing something good. Doesn't taste bad either, but not good for your stomach.
Right. And I mean, anything in moderation, as an herbalist, we always look at less is more. I mean, I have a lot of people that, are like, oh, well, if I take this, and I take abundance of this, it's going to help more. That is really not the case. Introducing herbal supplements or vitamins or things like that, you want to introduce it kind of slow and build up. The same thing with CBD. I tell everybody, start out slow and build up a little bit, because of course, everybody's system is different on how your body's going to process things. But realistically, if you build it up slow, your body has time to take it in and absorb it correctly, and then it becomes a part of those molecules. So, and that's the difference between when you got something synthetic and something natural. Your body really does, it becomes a part of who you are. And it works in those aspects. I try to put it in layman's terms as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, too much of anything is not going to be a good thing. No, really, no matter what it is.
Right.
What is Tammie's go-to when somebody feels like they got something coming on, got a cold, or I think it might be a cold, I'm feeling a little just down, want to try and fight that thing off? What would you take?
Yeah. I actually have. I've featured these in the past. My good buddy Rod with Oyate Herbals, he's my tea guy. I have literally just given up on making teas because his teas are amazing. This is called the Healer Tea, and it is good for. It's got herbs in it that's actually going to help the upper respiratory system, but boost the immune system at the same time. So it has a lot of the same herbs that's in my Immune Boost tincture, but it also has herbs that also helps the upper respiratory. So I will start with this, and then I usually add oregano oil, which we've talked about oregano oil in the past. The nice thing is if you really have got something that's really the crud, upper respiratory, you're really struggling, I always have a tincture that has a lot of the same herbs that's in this tea, but it's directly targets the upper respiratory system, and I put the oregano oil in it. So you have everything that you need all in one.
Wow.
So you don't have to worry about it. So these are my go-tos. I even start thinking about getting sick, and I'll drink a cup of Healer Tea. Well, if it really starts getting me down, which I haven't been down in years, I mean, more than maybe 2 or 3 days in it, just this little kind of, scratchy coffee thing. And I have asthma, which I've had under control by using the lung tincture without the oregano oil. I carry it with me, and it's got a bronchial dilator in it. It has a cough suppressant and a expectorant all in one.
Mm. I don't know why anybody would want to take any of that stuff. I mean, like, why would you want to have a bottle kicking around of Tammie stuff? So this is this is not for that purpose, but this is one of my favorite distress and anxiety relief. So if you're having a crazy stressful day, whatever, I took it yesterday, late afternoon, because just the day was stacking up. And then I look inside, I'm like, oh no, I'm almost out. So gotta get some more, but it definitely calms you. I am gonna say that it's got a little funky taste. Doesn't bother me. I'll do anything. Doesn't even matter. But I think some people would say, well, I don't know about that. But it works. And it works quick under your tongue. So.
It does, and it does. The kava does have, because it's such a pure kava. It does numb the tongue a little bit. So yeah, you get that little funky taste with a little bit of a numb to it, and then it goes away. So
I like it. I'm going to tell you, I don't find it like nasty tasting, offensive. It's got a very just almost a flowery. I really can't explain it and I usually am not a loss of words. I'm trying to put it into words, but it's got, very
robust
and just maybe a flowery, not citrusy.
I kind of do earthy. Yeah. I talk about it as having, when I talk to people, I use the word earthy. It kind of has an earthy. So the more pungent herbs, like I use earthy, I don't know, because I'm the same way. I mean, how do you explain that to somebody when they've never done an herb or never done a tincture? So I use the word earthy. I don't know if that is any better, but
I don't taste like dirt. No, that's not what we're saying here.
Right.
I'll say this, and I'm going to assume it's probably true for many of the tinctures. The first time you have it, it's going to be a little like, whoa, interesting. After that, I don't even give it a thought. It's just like, my biggest concern is I'm trying to get as much as I can in the dropper in one shot there. That's it. Yeah, after a while. And it works. And it's natural. You're not taking some chemicals. All your stuff's organic, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And if I don't make it, somebody else does. I use a lot of other family-owned, indigenous operated companies that I have known for years, and I've tested, perfected, knowing that they've got the good quality stuff. I'm super, super picky. That's why I've worked with Rod with Oyate Herbals for, I don't know, maybe 10 years now. I don't know. It's been a very long time, but I literally was gifted his tea when I was sick many, many years ago. And I was at a place where I wasn't able to get to my herbs. And another native friend of mine is like, oh, try this. And I'm like, oh, thank you. I read the bottle and went, oh, yeah. And I drank a couple cups of tea, and, because we were out of state at a show, and I was like, or I think it was a conference, because I didn't have access to anything. And so I took that, and I was golden in a couple of days. So yeah, he also makes a really cool tea that goes very well with it. It's called, and I love the names of his teas. So we got the healer tea. This one is called Howling Wolf.
Howling Wolf.
Howling Wolf, and it promotes soothing of the throat. So it's really good. So if you've got the upper respiratory going on, you got the sore throat, the tea, you can drink it with it, and it's really a nice added because.
And this stuff is on your website, his teas.
Yes.
You can find that.
Yeah, all of his teas are on my website.
It's been like a month where I started getting into teas. I stayed away from them forever. Don't ask why. I don't know. Like, trying to find a decaf. I only drink decaf.
Right.
Every morning I have a ginger tea instead of coffee.
Nice.
Once you get into it and you find the ones that have some really good flavor, whoa, it's amazing. It just feels good for digestion. At least that one.
Do you like hibiscus?
I'm not sure. I love the flower, but
hibiscus is a great tea. One of my favorite teas for the morning that I replaced my coffee with his, it's called Laughing Coyote.
Huh.
And it has hibiscus, it has astragalus, so it's got some stuff that helps boost the immune system, but it's got herbs in it that just really kind of just puts you in a really good mood, gives you that little bit of a kick, but not that jittery feeling like you do with coffee. And I like it. I will make like a pitcher of it, and I'll take it and pour it over ice and carry my water bottle with me throughout the day. So it's a great tea. So yeah, the Laughing Coyote tea is become a favorite, especially in Lake City, Colorado.
I never forgot the one that you mentioned a while ago for people with urinary challenges and whatever. If I remember correctly, it was TP.
TPT, yeah,
TPT.
yeah, like TPT, yeah,
right,
yeah, and it works great for men with prostate issues and things like that. Yeah,
wow.
he's got 19 medicinal teas, 9 bag teas. I also carry bulk herbs, so that way people who want to make their own teas, they can. So this I just grabbed because of our cold and flu season stuff. But this is whole elderberry, so you can put it in a tea, or you can make elderberry syrup. You can make your own elderberry tinctures. So yeah, I got a little bit of everything.
Elderberry sounds like it could taste good. Does it?
If you make it into a syrup, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
If you otherwise elderberry is actually not genuinely naturally sweet. It has a little bit of a bitter taste to it. But yeah, when you put the different sweeteners in it and things like that for to make the syrup or put it in the tincture, then yeah, you get a sweeter, I put everything in vegetable glycerin, so you get a sweeter flavor to it than versus the alcohol tinctures.
You're like a crazy herbal scientist. You are, like, in terms of
I've been called all kinds of things.
Yeah. But I mean it in an endearing way. It's like fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
And your prices are so reasonable. I remember the first time I bought some sprays. I have a sage spray, Palo Santo spray, and they're organic, right?
Yeah.
I had gone to a store and picked up a sage spray from like one of those bath stores. I know it's not real organic. But the price was the same, and it was more in your bottle. So there's, right there. And even the tinctures and everything, so well worth it. So great, taking care of yourself in a very holistic way. We don't have to worry about chemicals and meds. Nothing wrong with meds, but I'd rather take this stuff if I can.
Well, yeah, I'd rather do this than, I mean, you think, everybody goes out and they get the flu shot, Well, okay, so that's all fine and good, but if you want to put formaldehyde and I think it's called thiamazine. Anyway, it's one that I have a hard time pronouncing, but it's mercury based. It's a preservative they put inside of that. Well, it only has traces. I don't care. I don't want a trace of any of that in my body. Oh, let's just put a trace of formaldehyde in it, or a trace of mercury. No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. I'll do my tinctures, my gummies. I'll do all of that stuff. And you guys can, whoever you want to go out and get the vaccines, and then you can continue to shut down your organs and do the things that is going to happen years down the road.
Yeah. So. Well, our ancestors did it this way, and they lived a pretty good life. So why not go back to that? And for things like thiamine, I better say elderberry.
Right.
That's what we're talking about here. Oyate Herbals is your company. Your website is the same name, right?
Yeah. OyateHerbals.com. And you can order right online. I do ship all over the United States. If you got questions, contact me, email me, give me a text. The number on my website is my cell phone. So shoot me a text message. I don't always, can't always take phone calls all the time, but if you text me and say, hey, are you busy? I will definitely give you a call.
Sure.
We can, get down to the nitty gritty of what you got going on.
Learn how to heal in a healthy way. That's what it's about. And
Absolutely.
You're so easy to talk to, and your stuff is fantastic. Look for my order very soon. Oyate, by the way, Oyate herbals.com. Tammie, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Steve. Always a pleasure.
Same. always learn something, and I get excited. This stuff is cool. Not picking dandelions anytime soon, just because I don't know what went on the lawn there. But yeah, when in doubt, don't pick it out.
Yeah. Do your research, and
Yeah.
make sure you're being safe, and or contact somebody who knows, like me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll catch up next time. Thanks again.
All right. Sounds good. You have a beautiful day.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.